So what we need to do is add a view and a nib file for our second view, which is going to be a subclass of UIViewController that will do what we needed to do to control the second view, which we're calling the photo view. So our second view, the photo view, just like the main view, will be controlled by a subclass of UIViewController. So to create a new UIViewController subclass inside our project, we want to create it inside the project code folder, which is here, My World. This is the folder which has the .h.m files along with our nib files. And to create a new subclass, we choose File, New, New File. The Choose a Template dialog appears. And if we select Cocoa Touch over here under iOS, which is already selected, and then we select UIViewController subclass here, we are ready to create our new UIViewController. So we click Next. Before we do that, you see what it does? It says it right here, an Objective-C class, which is a subclass of UIViewController with a header file, a .h file, which includes the UIKit.h header and an optional XIB, which is a nib interface file. Does that all for you when we click Next. And so after clicking Next, the Choose Options dialog appears. It has the subclass of pop-up menu right here. And we want to keep it to UIViewController, our choice in the pop-up menu. As you can see, we also have the targeted for iPad option, which we're not going to choose this time because we're doing an iPhone app. We also have the with XIB, which is a nib file, for user interface option. But rather than creating the nib file immediately, we're going to do that separately. You'll see why in a few minutes. So we click Next, and we save our class with the name. The name we want to use for our new subclass is PhotoViewController. Now, it's already got the .m extension on it, and it's going to create our .h file as well when we click Save. There they are. PhotoViewController.h, PhotoViewController.m. They're actually in the right folder. They're in the My World folder, see? However, we want to move them up just so they don't get confused with the supporting files. So we can drag them straight up like that and put them a little bit higher up in the list. So Xcode creates PhotoViewController.h and PhotoViewController.m. And now we're ready to create a nib file or an XIB file for the photo view. Now, a nib file, as you may recall, is a resource file that contains the specifications for one or more objects. The main nib file usually contains a window object of some kind. Now, our main window is that nib file. It also contains the application delegate object and any other key objects. When the file is loaded, the objects are reconstituted like an instant application in memory. The single window you see displayed on the iPhone is an instance of the UI window class, and you can see that here in the identity inspector. It says UI window right here. This window is created at launch automatically by UIKit, which loads it from the nib file. Now you can add views and controls to the window. The UIView class, which we find here in mainView.xib, and click on the outer edge so that we don't get the background image, and we see that that's a class of UIView. So you can add views and controls to the window. The UIView class defines the basic properties of a view, and you can use it simply by adding controls. So what we're going to do is create another nib file inside our project code folder with the ones we just saw. We're going to do that by once again selecting the project code folder, which is My World. And once again, we're going to choose File, New, New File. Well, this time, in the Choose a Template dialog, we're going to select User Interface under iOS. Then we're going to select View as the template. This is an interface builder document for creating an iOS view. So we'll click Next. The Choose Options dialog appears with the Device Family pop-up menu. And we're going to stick with the iPhone for now. So now when we click Next, we get to save the XIB nib file, and the name we want to use for it is PhotoView. It already has the XIB extension, so we're ready to just save it. Well, we make sure that we're saving it to this group, the My World group, so that it shows up where the other XIB files are. So we click Save, and there it is, PhotoView.xib, and we'll move it on up here above supporting files just so it's higher up on the list. So now we have to give this photo view a controller. Click on the dock the file's owner. And now we look in the inspector pane, which is here, the identity inspector. You could also choose View, Utilities, Identity Inspector. And now we're going to choose from the class menu our photo view controller. It's right down here, photo view controller. So now we have associated with the nib file's owner, photo view controller, which controls this view. In other words, in order to control the photo view from the photo view controller .m file and .h file, which is a subclass of UI view controller, we needed to define the file's owner as photo view controller in that class pop-up menu. And we can see by clicking file's owner again, it is set to photo view controller. So we've now set up the nib file for the photo view. The next task is to initialize main view controller and photo view controller for the main and photo views. And of course, we will be adding an object to this later.